During this Black History Month, we have a one-on-one exclusive interview with Syracuse Mayor Sharon Owens, who is the first Black mayor in the city's history. I'm Jody Kenny, and on this Sunday, Mayor Owens talks about her first state of the city and some key takeaways from the address. Plus, Mayor Owens shares her top issues and how she plans to support young people in the city. And later, we learn more about Mayor Owens' history as the previous deputy mayor and a pastor, and how that helps her in her new role as mayor. All that and so much more happening right now on In Focus. Let's begin our program with Syracuse Mayor Sharon Owens. Thank you so much for being here. Congratulations on your win.
Thank you so much. It's always great to be back talking to you.
Okay, so let's kick it off with your first State of the City address. You said that it's no secret that Syracuse needs more housing. Talk to us about some of the developments or projects in the works that's going to make that happen.
So we have some great projects underway. The SDC, the Syracuse Developmental Site on the west side of town, was a long-standing old state building that the state helped us fund to demolish that. So we are starting infrastructure work in that site right now to create new roads. And then a development partner of ours, the Albany's group, will come in and build about 250 affordable rentals, and then home headquarters, a local housing developer is going to build 27 townhomes.
That's amazing. So I know in 2024, New York enacted the good cause eviction, which is basically outlining protections for renters of non-regulated units without a court-approved reason. Why do you advocate for this with the Common Council? Why do you think that it's necessary?
I think it's necessary because let's first of all say that good cause eviction doesn't stop evictions. They just require they be for good cause. I think it is critical to prevent homelessness for people to be wrongfully evicted, and then we're dealing with families like we are now who are living in hotels because they're homeless. And so I think this is critical. I'm glad the council is taking it up for a vote on their agenda to enact it here in Syracuse.
And with housing, you know, you mentioned the fact that, you know, we do have homeless people, we have people who need affordable housing. Can you talk a little bit about the city as it continues to grow? How are you going to make sure that residents can actually afford to stay here? Because we have some big projects coming to the region that could challenge that.
Yeah, one of the ways we're going to do it is I'm very proud of the city's inclusive zoning laws on the books right now. So new development or substantial rehab that's going on in our city, it is not an option, it is a requirement that those a percentage of those units meet affordability standards set by HUD. And that's going to ensure that the new development going on is not going to just price out people and just be purely market rate. We need an eclectic cadre of housing, both for low, very low, medium, and high end market rate.
You know, and I also think about creative housing responses. You know, we have a lot of abandoned structures. We've got a lot of big structures that are currently vacant. Has there been any thought to, you know, reimagining some of these properties?
So it's interesting. One particular thing that's going on here that I don't know if it's a good thing for us in general is hotels that have been converting to housing. One that was on the campus that converted to university student housing, and then another hotel that converted to housing in our downtown. The good part is it's creating new housing. The part for us that's it's a catch-22 is that part of our ability to attract large conventions has to do with how many rooms we have in our community. But that is one. The other thing we're looking at is mobile development, modular development for modular homes that help us to develop homes cheaper and much faster because time is money.
Right, exactly. I know you also spoke about the aging infrastructure, which includes replacing lead pipes, improving water lines. Can you talk more about those plans? Because I know Syracuse does have some serious plans and very focused plans on that.
At legislation day yesterday when we were there as mayors, this topic came up repeatedly about lead pipes across the state. Here in Syracuse, I'm tasking my team to ensure that we have a strategy for how we're going to address these pipes this year, but also to meet the deadlines identified by the EPA. The other thing, Jody, that people really don't think about is that we need enough contractors who are able to do this replacement work as well. And I also want to remind people that while lead pipes are a huge issue in our community, the biggest source for lead poisoning in our community is paint. And so we continue to address that as well.
And I know the I-81 viaduct project is underway. It's probably the biggest, most transformational project for our city, you know, taking down the highway, bringing it down to the street level, community grid. How is the project going so far? What's the timeline for it?
So it is coming home, and when I say coming home, like literally right outside the door of City Hall, fast and furiously. The DOT has been doing a great job. So our timeline is that we should be at the last phase and last contract, all going the same pace we anticipate by 2028. And it is at that time that viaduct will come down, and I, for one, am going to put my sneakers on and go down there and stand and just soak in how our community will be different.
I love that. And I know, you know, for those who don't know, the goal of the project is basically to stimulate the economy once again, reconnect different communities back to the way it was. Can you talk about how that will happen and the opportunities that this could lead to for the city?
So, you know the history of that highway is it decimated the old 15th Ward, really just took away an entire neighborhood in our city. This is really going back and reversing what history did and create the opportunities in that area. I will emphasize that part of that process would be that property underneath that viaduct is owned by New York State. It is absolutely critical that that property be conveyed to the city of Syracuse. That will enable the citizens, the city of Syracuse, through a public process to determine what is the best use and zoning for that area. So I'm emphasizing that everywhere I go, that land should come back to the city of Syracuse.
Have you had any response to that call?
Oh yes, our partners at DRT, particularly locally, and the commissioner, they've been great partners. So, instead of waiting until the project's over, I'm emphasizing we do it now. I'm getting feedback now that we're going to begin those conversations about the options available for conveyance of that land.
Syracuse Mayor Sharon Owens, we want to thank you for staying with us for the whole show, so we're going to take a short break. Stay with us, okay?
Yep.
All right, we will continue our conversation with Mayor Owens and talk about some top issues and plans for 2026. Stay with us. In Focus, we'll be right back. Thanks so much for staying with us. We are back now with Syracuse Mayor Sharon Owens. Mayor Owens, I wanted to talk with you about immigration. I know it's a serious topic right now. You said the city police will not act as ICE agents, as diversity is what makes our city so great. Syracuse really has a long history when it comes to diversity. Have you seen any suspicious activity on the ground that concerns you, or are there reasons why you needed to verbalize that?
There is not a day that we at City Hall don't get a YouTube clip or a video that comes through someone's phone. And Jody, the thing about this is that the mayor's office is never notified of any activity. The police department is never notified by activity. It is the citizens of Syracuse who keep us abreast of when there's activities in our community. And that's how we know.
Wow, that's fascinating. So you're not even being alerted to any operations, and that could lead to other concerns for the city when it comes to safety and security for your residents, right?
No, we are not notified. So I'm thankful for all of the people in our community who this is a priority topic for, who keep us informed.
Now you're pushing to take care of the city's young people, which I know is very important, especially when we come around summertime. Kids don't have a lot of things to do. They get in trouble. What is the Children's Rising Center project, and is that still on pause?
So I'm committed to reinvigorating our process of identifying funding for the Children's Rising Center. Through the process with the Housing Authority, the city has actually taken control of the site, which was the problem with why it needed to be paused in the first place. With site control, that gives us a more proactive ability to identify resources. Resources are available, but you have to have site control. So I've tasked my senior team for Let's Find the Path Again to really reinvigorate. Maybe it won't look exactly how we designed it before, but I'm committed to that project.
And I know many upstate communities are concerned about the brain drain, where people basically leave after their education. Can you talk a little bit about your Gen Next initiative to turn that around? Because I think it's pretty fascinating.
Yeah, absolutely. Many times what we really engage with is what is personal and in our face. And I have Gen Next who comes and raids my refrigerator. My daughter is 35 years old. And so she is very much part of that whole 20-something, 30-something, 40-something group who wants to be in Syracuse. She came back to Syracuse from Rochester, you know, finding their space here, whether it be housing. I have coworkers, younger coworkers, who are trying to buy a house who've been priced out. So they're talking to me about housing prices, but then they're also talking about nightlife here in Syracuse and how we can make it as eclectic as possible. Mayor Aplears called it turning on the lights in Albany, and I love that. It is really looking at many young people should not or do not want to be around alcohol. So what are some other options for people in this community? And it is not me as a 60-year-old who are going to talk about and have those innovative ideas. It's the population I'm looking to really provide an opportunity and some options to. So that Gen Next committee was part of my transition. They are going to continue to be an active committee in my administration to help guide me in the efforts to really help that population and retain our young people and bring our young people back to our community.
And we'll talk about this later, but a lot of people may not know, you know, if they're not from Syracuse, that you could have been a member of the brain drain crew, but you weren't. You actually went to school in Syracuse and then stayed in Syracuse. We're going to talk more about that later, but I love the fact that you're passionate about that because you actually lived it. I know you just said you're trying to improve nightlife in the city and you want to create a nightlife coordinator position. So how would that work? Are you taking a look at some other cities who have provided some vibrant life into their communities? Right. What are you doing with that?
So other cities call it a night mayor. I refuse to call it a night mayor because I never stopped being the mayor. So, but it is a nightlife coordinator. But we got outreach from a network of communities that really have come together under this concept and reached out to us. So we're going to become a part of that network. I'm really excited about this, to share ideas. We're putting a fine print on the job description for this job, and we're going to post it. I want to let anyone who's interested know we're not talking about a party planner. This is an administrator who is really going to work on understanding concepts around economic development, around all of the requirements that comes with opening a business or an opportunity in our community. But it is an amazing opportunity for us. And I have to tell you, I had people who were sitting at the State of the City address after I finished said that people were texting them while I was addressing it. It just really got some steam under it, and younger folks in our community are excited about this.
I kind of love that. And I know that you're pitching to turn Clinton Square's winter ice rink into a roller rink. I mean, I can get on board with that. Yes. You want to use more public spaces. I know that this is going to help the community, but maybe you could talk a little bit about how you see it'll help the community.
I just feel like, how can we, there's also, it snows here many months of the year. Mm-hmm. How can we get people out into the winter and I myself have to find a winter hobby, to help myself get through it. But I don't ice skate, and I was thinking, thinking about my mom and what's been going on with my family. I've been nostalgic, and I just remember how we used to roller skate. And when I said that was another thing that I was like, oh my goodness, I didn't think that would, resonate with folks. So now we're at the task of finding a way, how can we easily convert either the whole square or a portion of the square to create a roller rink for people. I will be the first person with roller skates on, with some great music, great lights out there, having a great time.
I love that. I'd love to come and do that with you. Let's do it. What I love is that your message is optimism, and you're carrying on the tradition of where, the city started and where it's going. So this has been a very interesting conversation to hear what you have going on for the city. Will you stick around with us, because we'd like to continue the conversation?
Absolutely.
Okay, stay with us. We're going to take a quick break. More in focus right after this, and we get to know Sharon Owens just a little bit better. Stay with us. In Focus returns after this. Welcome back to In Focus as we sit down with Syracuse Mayor Sharon Owens. And on a more personal note, we wanted to get to know you a little bit better. Some of these questions I'm going to ask you, I probably already know the answer, but maybe, there's people out there that don't know it. You made history as the city's first Black mayor, really breaking that ceiling in the City Hall. How did that make you feel?
I was very proud, standing on shoulders, as you know, legacy people who have come before you, they have mentored you, that have, whether I saw my future in this position or not, I knew that it was about public service, and that's because of all the people who came before me that nurtured me to do this type of work. So I'm proud, I'm obligated, and committed.
You are also a pastor. How does that experience help you in your role as mayor?
Pastors have to know how to deal with people in the worst moments in their lives too many times. And so many times we talked about some really uplifting things, but then there are other times when you just are in situations that people are hurting quite a bit. And so to be able to touch, and it's not a word, it's a feeling with the humanity of people in this city.
Right, and I also think that people look to you, as a faith leader, as somebody, who has a vision and who actually cares more deeply than maybe somebody who is a career quote unquote politician.
Yeah, I did not go looking for government in City Hall. City Hall found me because I was just out in the neighborhoods doing the work. And I saw that there was a bigger platform and a bigger place that I can touch more people by working for city government. And so I've had the great opportunity under 2 mayors, and now I'm the mayor, to continue to do that work. One of my initiatives that I'm really excited about is our care team, the constituent advocacy and referral employee team, because I think that what people, even though the safety net of human services is with our county, people call their mayor's office because there are things that are beyond, I didn't get plowed, or there's some issue with my pipes. It is about, I need help finding a source for me and my family. And so I'm creating this team. This comes from my background and who I am as a person, that we need to be able to, whether we are county government, we are city government, these are people who live in our city who are struggling, that need some guidance.
So true. And I know you were previously deputy mayor for 8 years under Ben Walsh. What did you learn in that role?
Well, it helped me. Well, first of all, it helps to know where all the light switches are, so I do know that. And knowing that, for example, CityLine, which is a great amenity, a great app that people use, I really felt by witnessing and seeing it that it was missing a component. And that's how we created the care team.
That's interesting. See, your experience kind of led to the creation of even more services for the city. And I wonder, how was it when you kind of took the baton from Mayor Walsh to you? What was that last interaction like? Could you kind of bring us into that conversation?
Our last interaction was the clip that you showed. I was sworn in the mayor's office. My family was with me. Mayor Walsh and his family were there. There were a bunch of people crammed behind the scenes that you didn't see. And then we walked out to that wall of pictures of former mayors, and you see all the men, and then you see Stephanie Minor. So she started what I feel is a tradition that her picture came up, and she put it up in color because she was the first woman. And so people are like, why is it in color? And I was like, because she's the first woman, it needs to be in color. And then when Mayor Walsh came on, his was in color, and then hers became black and white. And so when I became mayor, my picture is in color and his is now in black and white.
I understand that music is an important part of your life. Talk about that. That's something I didn't know about you.
Oh yeah, music is everything to me. I have a very eclectic playlist, anything from classical to old school hip hop. I'm an old school hip hop head.
So
I
am
might
I.
not get the new stuff, but the old school hip hop, I'm a hip hop head, and just love it. Yeah, I remember Saturday mornings getting up, cleaning the house, and you would just put on music, and just, it just made the task go by faster. That's a part of me. That's what's ingrained in me. I love a good song that I can dance to. It just lightens your shoulders a little bit for a moment.
It sure does. Also, what some people may not know, I know, and people of Syracuse know, you were a part of the women's inaugural track team at Syracuse University, and you held records.
Yes. Yes.
Talk to us about your experiences as a Black woman in sports, kind of forging a new path at the university.
Yeah, it's probably hard for a whole generation of people to know, but in 1981, our first track team for women took place at SU, and that was going on all across this country. Title IX exists for that very reason, and it was an opportunity. I had gone to that campus. I didn't know many people, but I was a four-sport athlete in high school, and it was an opportunity to create a campus on that big, a family on that big campus. And so I met friends on that team that are friends to this day, and we were amazing group of power women who really forged a path for women's sports at SU.
I am getting the wrap, but before I let you go, I wanted to take a moment to honor your mom. I know she got to experience your inauguration before sadly passing away. I know she's looking down at you very proud right now, because I know this was something that she really wanted to see for you. So we wanted to give you an opportunity to just, mention your mom's name and honor her.
My mom, Pastor Esther Daniels, passed away, and she did her last sermon at my inauguration, praying for the city of Syracuse, And it was amazing for her to be there at that moment, to hear my mom say she was proud of me. She lived a long, fruitful life. She was a trailblazer in her own, being not only a young woman who ventured up here by herself to the north, but also a woman pastor. When she did it, there weren't many. And so I'm going to continue to live my life honoring her legacy.
Syracuse Mayor Sharon Owens, thank you so much for your time. Best wishes on your term as mayor and your stewardship of the city. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
We want to thank you so much for watching this edition of In Focus. I'm Jody Kenny. We appreciate you spending your Sunday with us.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. To keep up with important issues impacting our communities and hear more conversations with the people who are shaping the future, subscribe to our channel. You can also download our app or find Spectrum News on your TV for balanced, in-depth political coverage and more.